Good morning, children. Welcome to E.V.S. 2 class. Today we will read lesson number 3, Maratha Sardar, the famous house of Bhosle. In the last session, I had explained you the full lesson in 2 parts. So again, I will explain it together with reading. Okay, children? So first, let us recap our first part. It was a period of unrest. It's the first point. Second point, the brave Maratha Sardars. Third point, the tradition of valor. Fourth point, the temple of Grushneshwar. Now these points reading we will do and discuss it in detail. So let's start. Period of unrest. As the saints preached devotion to God, the brave Maratha Sardars started a tradition of bravery. This was a period of great unrest. The two sultans, the Adil Shah of Bijapur and the Nizam Shah of Ahmednagar, were constantly at war with each other. They made use of the armies of Maratha Sardars in these wars. In this paragraphs, underline tradition, unrest. Now I will explain you. Pay attention. The brave Maratha Sardars started a tradition of bravery. Tradition means parampara. The two sultans, Adil Shah and Nizam Shah, were always fighting with each other. They made use of armies of Maratha Sardar in those wars. Now second paragraph. The brave Maratha Sardars. The Marathas were both brave and tough. They were also fearless and loyal to their masters. Underline fearless. They were proud, very proud of their achievements on the battlefield. Underline achievements and battlefield. The brave Maratha soldier with a spear in hand and a sword at the side would ride in his Sardar's cavalry. Underline achievements, battlefield and cavalry. All the Maratha Sardars had their own private armies. If such a Sardar went to the Sultan with his army, the Sultan gave him employment, made him a Sardar of his kingdom, and sometimes conferred a Jagir upon him. Underline employment, conferred. The Sardar who received such a Jagir considered himself a Raja. Now here I will explain you in detail. The Sardars were brave, tough, fearless and loyal. Means brave means himmat wala. Tough means kathor. Fearless means na darne wala. Loyal means wafadar. They were proud of their achievements on the battlefield. Means they fought like a lion on the battlefield. एक शेर की तरह लड़ना. The Maratha soldiers had a spear in his hand and a sword at the side. Spear, as we had seen in the last lecture, the picture of a spear. It has sharp edges. He would ride in his Sardar's cavalry. Cavalry is घोड़े की सेना, means a man of army on horse. They had their own private armies. If such a Sardar went to the Sultan with his army, he gave him employment. Employment means rozgar, naukri dena. And who received such a Jagir considered himself a Raja. Your Jagir means a reward for his good service. And conferred means diya hua, usko diya. Now the next paragraph. There were many famous Maratha Sardars at the court of Ahmednagar and Bijapur. Underline Ahmednagar. The more famous among them were the Jadavs of Sindhkhed, underline Jadavs and Sindhkhed, Nimbalkars of Palthan, Ghorpades of Verul, Ghorpades of Mudhol, Mores of Javli, Bhosles of Verul, underline Jadavs, Sindhkhed, Nimbalkars, Palthan, Ghorpades, Bhosles, Verul. The Sindhkhed Jadavs were descendants of the Yadavs of Devgiri. Jijabai, the mother of Shivaji Maharaj, was the daughter of Lakhujirao Jadhav of Sindhkhed. Now underline descendants, Lakhujirao, Sindhkhed. Descendants means vansh. Yadavs of Devgiri के वंश के जादव्स थे. Now I will explain you this paragraph. These were the famous Sardars that we can see. As I told you, Jadavs, Nimbalkars, Ghorpades, Mores and Bhosles. And Jijabai was the mother of Shivaji Maharaj. She was the daughter of Lakhujirao Jadhav of Sindhkhed family. Now we will go to the next paragraph. Tradition of valor. All these Sardars were brave, but many of them were sworn enemies of one another. They never thought that they should unite and do something for their own people. So, all their valor and bravery served the interest of others. Underline sworn, underline interests. Even so, they kept alive the warlike spirit, especially among the young. Many famous soldiers were born in their families who kept alive the tradition of valor. Among the famous families, the Bhosles of Verul showed great bravery and enterprise. Underline warlike spirit, bravery, enterprise. Now listen carefully. We will see how tradition of valor was kept alive in Maratha Sardar. As I told you, tradition means parampara. Marathas were brave, but many of them were sworn enemies of one another. Means they always fought with each other. They never thought of uniting their own people. And among them were families of Bhosles of Verul. They showed their great bravery and enterprise. Enterprise means undertaking a task, एक भारी काम अपने हाथ में लेना. Now the next, the temple of Grushneshwar. It was about 400 years ago. The temple of Grushneshwar near the Verul caves was falling to pieces. Underline Grushneshwar. The walls had developed cracks. The priest also had deserted the temple. Underline priest, deserted. Thus, the temple, which was built in honor of a great god, was totally neglected. All the devotees who came there mourned over the sorry state of the temple. Underline mourned. But no one thought of repairing it. Underline repairing. Near about 400 years ago, यानी 400 साल पहले, 400 years ago, this temple of Grushneshwar was falling to pieces, यानी कि टूट रहा था वो. It was near Verul caves. कहाँ पे था? Verul caves के पास था. This temple was deserted, means no one came and visited the temple. कोई नहीं आता था उधर. Nor the priest. Priest means sadhu or saint. The people, nor the priests nor the people, nobody used to come to visit it. It was a temple of Lord Shiva. Everyone mourned. Mourned means to feel sad over the sorry state of the temple. But no one thought of repairing it. A great devotee of Shiva visited the temple regularly. He would put flowers and bale on the lingam, underline bale, lingam, and express his innermost thoughts to the god. He carried out extensive repairs to the temple and restored it to its original condition. He also made arrangements for the proper maintenance of the temple. Underline extensive, restored, maintenance. Now there were lights both inside and outside the temple, and the lost grandeur of Grushneshwar was restored. Underline grandeur. Who was this devotee who did all this? He was Maloji Raje Bhosle. Now here I will explain you. Underline Maloji Raje Bhosle. There was only one devotee who regularly visited the temple and put flowers and bale. Bale is a type of leaves used for worship in temple. He put on the lingam every day. He was deeply a true devotee to Lord Shiva. So he carried out all his extensive repairs to the temple and restored it to its original condition. This great person who intensively did all these arrangements for the maintenance of the temple was Maloji Raje Bhosle. Okay children, now here we end up the first part of our reading, and you will write the notes neatly in your classwork book. Remember, when you write, draw lines after each question and answer and write the lesson heading date properly. Do not forget to complete your index as well. Thank you.